What is up? What is up? I am back. I am way less moderate. Been a while. Sorry. I know. I apologize. But we're going to do this anyway. It's going to be fun. I got a bunch of new stuff. I got a mic that I have no idea if it's dialed in properly right now or not. If it's not, I'm not going to refilm it. You're going to be okay with it. In other news, I have converted to Catholicism, so that's something. I can talk about that some other time. But it brings us neatly along to the topic of today's video, which is interesting and very concerning.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Why do they cheer at that? That's the thing. Her, I expect, but why are they cheering?
No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
You know, that last part would almost be funny if it were even slightly true. I have been tweeting for months now that Kamala, at least in my eyes, is, you know, pretty much as close as we're going to get to demons. I mean, we can... Even if we're ignoring the fact that she is in favor of the mass slaughter of babies, kicking someone out for saying Christ is king is absurd. They weren't causing any problems. They just shouted something from the audience. That's something you're allowed to do in the U.S. You know, if you didn't know that, you're allowed to do that. And having them forcibly removed from your rally for saying that is insane. The U.S. is 52% Christian. She's an idiot. She's always been an idiot. Fox News did eventually interview the two guys that were there who shouted that. I don't normally watch Fox, but this was the only interview I found with them, so let's watch it.
Today, we'd like to bring in those students who yelled that out to Kamala Harris. 2 pro-life students at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, both juniors. Luke Pulaski and Grant Beth join us now. Luke, Grant, thanks for being with us this morning. Luke, I'll start with you. Just take us into that moment. What happened yesterday? We see the video clip. Is there anything more you can tell us about what you guys had to say and what happened afterwards from that video?
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be here. I would say the first thing I want to bring up, this is our first time taking an interview with anybody, and I think it's important because this is our raw, like, untold story. There's a lot that happened off camera that we said at the protest. While we were protesting.
It's a pretty small rally, I'm just saying.
I guess we could start off with after she talked about overturning Roe v. Wade and Donald Trump, I yelled out to the crowd that abortion is
See how that lady just pushed him out of the way? This is liberals. They don't want anyone else to talk. If you say anything that they don't want to hear, they push you out. They just get rid of you rather than listening. I'm not saying that the right doesn't do that at times as well. It's just there's a clear pattern of which one does that more commonly, which one is more in favor of censorship, which we've very much seen in terms of what's come out about all the censorship that happened on Twitter, particularly with the Hunter Biden laptop story and all that. Like, it was definitely one party in favor of censorship right now and one that is not. I'm not saying that doesn't flip-flop between the Democratic and Republican parties. There does tend to be this kind of 20-year back and forth, but right now it's pretty clear who's on the side of free speech and who is not. Anyway, let's keep watching.
And when I said that, I yelled out to the crowd that abortion is the sacrament of Satan. And when I said that, I deeply do believe that as a Christian.
It's true.
And about 10 seconds go by, and that's when the video of my friend Grant and I proclaiming that Christ is Lord.
First of all, we didn't really intend on, going at any people. People online were calling us MAGA fascists. That was never our intention going to this.
They love that word. They love that word. Okay, look. I work at a coffee shop. The other day, there was a conversation going on at one of the tables in the shop, and they were talking, professionally and intelligently, sounded like it anyway. And I could tell they were talking about politics. But I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I can't quite hear what they're saying, but it sounds really respectful, really professional, really intelligent. You know what? We probably don't agree that much because I'm in a city. I know they're probably pretty liberal, and I'm definitely conservative. I probably wouldn't agree, but you know what? It'd be a nice conversation to have. It sounds intelligent. Wouldn't mind. 5 minutes later, I'm standing a little bit closer to them, and I hear the gal there. I forget exactly what she said, but something like I know what she said. If Trump loses, I'm worried that the Republican Party will just double down and become even more fascist. I'm like, you don't have a very firm grasp on fascism, ma'am. Anyway.
Mr. Alley, we were only here to protest our faith, and we did so. We never expected this to grow as large as it was. Essentially, she was speaking, and we decided to say, Christ is King, Jesus is Lord.
Not much needs to be said. These guys are legends. They stood up for what they believe in. They're awesome. They were very courteous and professional and gentlemanly about it. They're basically gentlemen freedom fighters, I'd call them, and they'd probably drink Clubundy coffee if they knew about it. We all know Starbucks is woke and gay, but as you might imagine, my companies are none of those things. Let me grab a bag for you, actually, so you can see what I'm talking about. Our coffee is proudly roasted in the USA the same day that it's shipped to you, which does make it the freshest coffee available on the internet. Just saying. But more importantly, the Support Collection donates 60% of its profits to the people who keep us Americans safe. This one goes to the fire department. You can use the code SAVE10 at checkout to get 10% off, or if you prefer that 10% go to those charities, you can leave it off. Totally your call. We have religious freedom here. The government cannot persecute you based on any religion you may or may not practice. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, don't care. Whatever it is, you can practice your religion in the United States. It's extremely important for our country. Kamala Harris just proved that she won't stand for that. As libertarians, we tend to very frequently vote blue, even if we ourselves are conservative. I would really urge you, if any of you were even considering remotely maybe voting for Kamala, or even simply not voting at all, because I understand that, please just know this woman is fundamentally opposed to libertarian values. It's not just a matter of, I don't like either one of them. If the wrong one gets in, she's not coming after Trump policies. She's coming after the rights of Americans to practice our religion. She could have ignored the comments entirely and kept on talking. She could have kind of, diplomatically acknowledged it and moved on. She could have said something like, yes, but Jesus isn't on the ballot, so right back into the talking points. She could have done that. It would have blown over. Nobody would have cared. Might have been a headline here or there, but it wouldn't have really amounted to anything. And her campaign would be pretty much fine, or at least as fine as it was up until this point. But no, she chose to attack and alienate 52% of the American voter base. Wow, great idea. No way that'll backfire. Nope, that'll be totally fine. But don't worry. She quickly realized her mistake and appeared at a Protestant church to try and to some degree win back some popularity with the Christians. Didn't go so well. Let's take a look.
Let us look at where we are and understand the lesson of the Gospel of Luke.
Okay, just days after the whole...
The way she smirks and smiles, the way she says that, is that not demonic? Oh, look, let's look at what the gospel says. She's just preparing to manipulate it. I feel like this is just exactly the way that the serpent spoke. You can't possibly, it can't just be me. It can't just be me, right? Am I losing it? Let me know. I don't know. It sounds bad to me, that's all I'm saying.
We have all in our lives, from the earliest stages of our lives, had those moments where it has been revealed to us our power. And we should never let anyone take our power from us or in any way try to convince us we are powerless. And so I say, as we move forward, let us look at where we are and understand the lesson of the Gospel of Luke. Because right now, each of us has an opportunity to make a difference. In this moment, our country is at a crossroads, and where we go from here is up to us.
Stop right there. Okay. Tell me, explain to me, seriously, in the comments, because if anybody has an idea of how you can, excuse this, let me know. Explain to me the difference between these two sentences. You deserve, not only deserve, you rightfully have the ability to have power over your own decisions and understand good versus evil, and to be like God. And on the other side, you have all the power. Don't let anyone take it away from you. Don't let anyone tell you someone's more powerful than you. How are those different things? I'm not trying to be a religious fanatic. I don't even take it all literally. I'm just saying there are some similarities here. The book was written the way it was for a reason. I think warning signs, just saying. If we look at the, oldest representation of pure evil, it looks just like this. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying evil was described in the way that it was because it repeats over time. I'm saying this is a repetition of pure evil. But even after all of that, she couldn't resist. Once again, this time in a church, she had Christian anti-abortion protesters removed from the church forcibly. And seriously, shame on that church for letting this happen at all, for even hosting her, knowing that she was going to talk about this stuff and allowing this to happen, not interfering when its own congregation was being forcibly removed. Shame on them. All I'm going to say is this wouldn't have happened with Catholics, and I'm not trying to go down like a Protestant versus Catholic rabbit hole here. Both have their hearts in the right place. It's just the Catholics have very specific lines that they're not ever going to cross. And she's very afraid of that, which leads us right back into the fact that she decided to skip I always forget it, Al Smith, right? It's in my notes here. Al Smith? Yes, Al Smith dinner. She skipped the Al Smith dinner because she's absolutely terrified.
I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy.
I admit I nailed that impression.
But I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer. That's not a pretty sight.
All right, so we've learned now for certain that Kamala hates the very idea of God. It gets in the way of her entire agenda. Every dictator effectively wants to be the single highest authority in the eyes of the people. This is going to be everything down to, obviously, manipulating the media, being, oh my God, all of the misinformation stuff. It's exactly the handbook, right? They want to be the one source of truth, whatever they decide is true. And the existence of any God, whatever religion you're a part of, discredits that. It puts any level of truth above the dictator, right? So obviously she is fundamentally opposed to the idea of God itself. I'm sure the biggest reason why she didn't actually appear at the Al Smith dinner was she knew she wouldn't be able to keep up. She's not very good with on-the-spot stuff. There's no teleprompter. She's going to have trouble. Any comebacks. And honestly, I just think she's not really quite capable of taking jokes, not personally, right? If Trump is going to tell a joke about Kamala and she's there's no way she's not going to get all kinds of pissed off, right? So I'm sure that was the biggest reason. She just knew she couldn't really keep up. But like I said, the Catholics don't really mess around, right? If she's involved with the Catholics, it's not quite the same as going to a Protestant church like she did. There's really no wiggle room. She's simply, her rather demonic philosophy is simply not welcome at all. And she knows that. Realistically, I think her interacting with Catholics is the closest she really can get to interacting with the idea of Jesus Christ. And she's afraid of Jesus Christ. Hey, my camera died right as I was finishing. That's cool. Okay, look, let me just wrap this up. The right to religious freedom is extremely important for this country. There's really no other way to say that. And there's nothing wrong with a political candidate disagreeing with a certain religion, whether that's because they're a part of a different religion or they're atheistic, which, let's be kind of realistic, is basically its own religion at this point. But there's nothing wrong with that. Hell, if you want to be a Satanist, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to stop you. But our government being religiously neutral is not the same as it being against a particular religion. Point is that no religion can be enforced or banned by the government. If a politician has made a point of attacking any religion, it has attacked all of us, the people. Anyway, guys, sorry, this has been a disaster. I'm getting used to filming these videos again, so bear with me, please. But it's great to be back anyway. You'll see more of me soon. I promise you will. But have a great week. Deus Volt. Yeah, see you.